It's time for our second semi-final. Welcome back to the Overwatch Open. I'm your host, Alex Machine Richardson, and we've already had a very swift start to our Sunday of gaming. It was honestly, you blink and you miss it. You probably just tuned in, ready to watch, the second or the third map, and you're like, wait, what's going on here? It's already over, and it was a very one-sided affair. Boys from Reunited just came out of the gates absolutely blazing, and I've got myself ZP and Joshy to hang out and talk about our second game. Now, this should promise to be slightly closer of an affair. I'm kind of fishing for like facial expressions. I know ZP is oh, I don't know. I can only do one eyebrow. Can you raise both your eyebrows? I can do one.
I can do, yeah.
Oh, I'm actually quite jealous. I can only do this one. I can't do the left one. No, I'm not going to try. No, don't you do that. Stop it. This one, and then not the other one.
No, don't even try.
Not going to try that. But anyway, Creation is going to be going up against LG. Now, let's talk about this, ZP, because you have made it abundantly clear throughout all of the broadcasts that we've done together that you have a good belief that Creation deserves some of these top spots, one of these playoff spots. Can you explain why?
Absolutely. Creation, going all the way back to their Flat Earth days, they've been a top team in EU. They've constantly been in the top 4 consideration. They've had points where they have gone first place in tournaments. I think the last week or so week or two hasn't been the absolute greatest for them, but even going into today, just knowing their track record, knowing that they have been hitting it pretty hard in terms of scrims and all the rest, I would expect them not only to beat Luminosity here, but I'd also expect them to go forward and take out Reunited in the finals, both because they're really evenly matched teams, but Reunited sort of has that curse of winning things in the finals. So for Creation, I expect them to do pretty well. LG, though, they have been on the rise as too strong. They've been a dark horse for a while, and they've been putting up more consistent results as time goes on. So there is the possibility of an upset. I just think it's a little unlikely going into this.
Yeah, Josh, I mean, I'm assuming you're just going to mirror those sentiments. That Too Strong are undoubtedly coming into the underdogs, quite similar to the NIP storyline we kind of laid out before. Is there anything to add to that, or is it just quite simply, yes, Alex, they are an underdog, end of discussion?
I mean, I have to agree that they are an underdog. They really don't have any tournament championships, victories, first place finishes, or anything like that. Reunited have a few under their belts now, even though they do classically have trouble in finals. ZP's pointed it out before, but they have, eventually won some events, and I think today they're just looking so strong that sub 3-minute time on Gibraltar against another really top team, it's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, the only thing I would say about Reunited there, in regards to them being able to go forward and have the 255 on Gibraltar, which is super impressive, is that they counterbalance that by having no defense of their own going forward. So on one hand, they showed us their strength. On the other hand, they showed us their weakness. Now, not to take anything away from NIP, they still had to play pretty well to come out with an almost similarly fast time. But from Reunited, I was expecting to see, okay, we came out as 255, and then we held right before the hangar door, because that's what a truly dominant team does. And it sort of shows the Reunited's penchant for inconsistency from time to time. So it's impressive, and at the same time, just like, you can't do that against Creation. They will punish you horribly.
Yeah, and actually, Creation is an interesting story. I mean, this is our third week. I've said it once, and I'll say it again. However, every single time we've broadcast Creation, or we've seen Creation in the brackets, they have not made it past this point. They get to the semis and get knocked out. That happened in the first week, happened in the second week, and now we're into the third. This, perhaps, maybe third time's the charm. That's what they're going to be hoping for and crossing their fingers for. And it does seem, it's quite interesting, when you look through their, the results that they have managed to post, we've seen it constantly go the way of conceding losses to Rogue. Rogue have been like the kryptonite to Creation. It's absolutely insane. It happened in Takeover offline. You've seen it online as well. It just seems like they just can't seem to break through that Rogue barrier.
Yeah, it's not always the case. There were a few events that came in after Takeover where Creation was able to win, including, I think there was some LAN in France that happened. I was a little bit low profile. I just remember the players tweeting about it, where I'm pretty sure Creation won that. So it hasn't been entirely favored Rogue, though certainly Rogue has done better at Takeover, and they've done better in recent times. Creation has shown that they can bring it on a high level as well. So we'll see how things go here today. I'm definitely curious to see how strong they come out against Luminosity. If they absolutely come out and just stomp them, it's a really good omen for them as they go in against Reunited, since at least they'll have some momentum. If it's a tough fight, it probably bodes a little bit more for Reunited.
Yeah, of course, re-highlighting that Luminosity is not the Luminosity from North America. There's not been some crazy flights booked and hotels booked. No, instead, this is Luminosity, of course, picking up the Too Strong roster, as ZP mentioned already. We get a guaranteed Ilios. We're heading over to the Greek island first, which is, again, we said it before, Anubis cropped up in the previous veto. I'm no longer going to start addressing these as surprises, but Ilios, a first pick. Like, sometimes we'll see it as a third, as a backup, as a pocket pick for one team or the other. Ilios coming in first, Joshy. That's I don't think I've seen that yet, and we've had now 3 weeks, 2 days, six days. Yeah, we go. That's how maths works.
Yeah, I think Ilios is usually discarded because of the fact that there are a lot of environmental kills possible on it.
Sure.
And pro players don't really like dying to environmental kills. They don't really like
You're gonna have to
coming
define that
in
to everyone.
so environmental kills are anytime you fly off a cliff, anytime you fall into the void. And Ilios, for example, has one point where literally there's a giant hole in the middle, and Roadhog can hook people into it. Lucio and Farah can both bounce people into it, and it just feels really terrible to finally rush back into the point, try and save the day, and suddenly you're just falling down a well.
Sure.
Well, we were talking here about this is a different Luminosity team. They're not the team that is now known as NRG or Seagull's team. And the fact that Ilios is a map here really goes to that, because one of the longest running memes in comp play was going, Enigma of now NRG hates Ilios. And it came out mostly from the fact that Ilios has a really... at the time where you couldn't change your crosshair color, you have a white crosshair, you look up to the sky, you lose in the clouds. Enigma was not a fan of that. And it sort of just became the sort of thing, it's like, Enigma hates Ilios. So it's just like, LG will never play Ilios. But this LG team, a different team, totally willing to play Ilios.
Okay, yeah, it's good to outline that as much as we possibly can, as this will be something to get used to as time does go on. And look at it, it is time for us to go on holiday to Ilios, and we're going to be enjoying another best of 3. This is our second semi-final of our 3rd week here for the Overwatch Open. It is going to be a big one. Will Too Strong or now LG come out of the gate swinging, or will Creation break their curse they seem to have encountered here in the Overwatch Open?
Thank you very much, Alex. We can see the map overview here. Exactly the brightness of this level is what ZP was addressing. And back in the day, in closed beta, there was a period where you could not change your crosshair at all. It was always just a standard white crosshair, and you could lose it very easily, not only in the clouds, but just these very bright buildings and things like that. There's also a stretch on Gibraltar where you're defending the first point where you just completely lose your crosshair. But as we move out the gates here, it's not quite a mirror. We've got Bromas on the Reaper, Icefelt on Tracer, for example. Actually, really different teams moving out here. Sini on Genji, and Creation using R-Tier on McCree. As we get started, R-Tier is going to start guns blazing, but does fall very quickly to Manitin.
Let's do quick kills here from the side of LG. Make it 3. Toxic the only one firing back. Lynx are still in it. Creation doing a decent job of trying to pull us back, but they just lose too many people too quickly. Lynx are trying to put on Kalink Zarya. Will finally go down to Icefeld. It's going to be first cap here from LG. A good start to be sure. Interesting though from Creation, look at Lynxer's ult charge. To have a Zarya at 82% ult after one fight is actually just ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. Luminosity did get the better of it. It seemed that the tanks actually did quite a bit of the work there as well. Sini is building up his ult pretty rapidly. Icefelt, of course, Tracer, Pulse Bombs do come pretty frequently throughout a match. He's going to start focusing down that Discorded Reaper, and he will escape to safety. But Bromas ends up going down. Lucio now getting focused heavily with that Discord Orb. Could be not long for this world. He falls, and so does Toxican. Dracius down now finally.
Well, Lynx are able to go in. He started out that fight with 2 kills, killing his counterpart in the other Zarya. Backed up by R-Tier. This is going to be Creation retaking it. And I just want to note again, what a great game Lynxer is having right now on his Zarya. Rare to see a Zarya just come out to that extent, but here we go. LG going to be coming in once more. They do have to watch out for that Graviton. Manitin nowhere close. Lynxer has it up, and he's going to be looking to set up his team, and it might just be as simple as Numlocks coming in for the fall-through. But here's Lynxer. Here comes the Graviton. Does get Lucio in it. Looking for the fall-through. Ruster is in as well. Dracaeus will take out Mineral, so one quick kill from Creation off that. Here comes Sandy, though, in the backline. Dragon Blade at the ready, trying to make something happen here. There will be 3 kills to LG, but Lynxer once more holding it in. It's not going to be enough, as despite the Graviton, it looks like LG is going to retake this point.
Yeah, Lynxer's the last man standing here. I'll be very surprised if he's able to wipe the couple remaining there from Luminosity, but nice thing about that last fight is basically that Dracaeus and Toxicin were both eliminated very, very quickly. Manitin has a Graviton Surge available now for Luminosity to help hold the point. Mineral is starting to build up toward that Sound Barrier, but Dracaeus has his available already. Icefelt darting around with only 10 HP, manages to stay alive. After all of that unfolds, Bromas and Numlocked will get a couple of kills. It looks like Creation could start to force their way back in here.
Well, the really good thing for Creation is that they didn't have to blow Sound Barrier here. LG blows Sound Barrier at the very end. This might be somewhat of a desperation move. They're still down members. They're not going to get a whole lot off this, and that is a completely wasted Sound Barrier, and that is a huge, critical mistake here in King of the Hill, because not only is Creation going to retake this point, but now LG is not going to be able to come in with a counter Sound Barrier of their own. The one upside, I guess, is that it did cost Dracaeus to blow his, where I'm not sure they really needed to in that situation, but LG would have been better off just conceding it and coming back in with full power.
Did Dracaeus not launch his first? I thought I saw, I'm not sure exactly now.
I don't think so.
But either way,
Might
I
be
mean, Creation does actually force the issue. They do flip the point back in their favor, 59% apiece. Very even match so far. Bromas actually switching off of Reaper onto a Tracer of his own to try and match Icefelt. Mineral with that Discord Orb getting very low. He gets taken out. That's going to be a great pickup there for Creation to try and stay in control all the way up to those 90 percentile where you can actually hold just one time and win the game. Icefelt getting focused Focus down very quickly as well with that help from Linkser. Linkser just having a great game, as you said, lighting up the kill feed on multiple opponents. They are looking really good now.
Well, going to the next fight, both teams will have ultimates at their disposal. Drakeus much closer to a Soundbearer than Mineral. LG going to have to do a lot here with Transcendence in the Dragon Blade, and maybe Icefeld can get a pick off as well. But Creation, they are fully stocked. They have everything up except the Soundbearer. But here comes LG moving insane with the Dragon Blade. Is just melted down by Linkser. The Graviton is out. It pulls in 3. And they are going to get the fall through. Artier with the double kill at the very end, and that is going to be a critical team wipe here for Creation. Icefeld does commit the pulse bomb at the very end, but they're not going to be able to keep overtime, and Creation will be going up 1 round to 0 here against LG.
Icefeld with the last-second pulse bomb. If it had somehow killed the entire team, would have been nice, but of course that is quite a tall task. Icefeld, here's some nice highlights from his Tracer play. I have to feel like Icefeld really did a good job. It was actually Linkser playing out of his mind here on this point, stayed alive throughout the entire fights, was able to build up multiple Graviton surges. Here he is just zapping down Winston. Icefeld once again doing great focus there on the supports all by themselves. No tanks, no DPS there to protect them. Have already been eliminated. There's a nice Graviton surge. It did trigger that Transcendence, and this is the point where Drakeus and Mineral, I think, both popped their sound barriers, but we're actually getting a little bit of a replay there, but either way, first round going handily in the way of Creation. We're going to be setting out on the Ruins here for the second round.
Alrighty, well, both teams are going to be treading out here once more, and really, you talk about differences between the teams. Artier had a bit of a quiet game until the very end. Linkser, though, absolutely having the game of his life there, clearly outplaying Manitin, his counterpart on LG, and we'll see if he's able to do it here, because that was some very top-notch Zarya play. Both teams right now trending in poke. Artier with the Maricree skin, one of the greatest skins in the game, but Ruster gets the backline, immediately takes out Toxic and falls through on the Artier. 3 kills to start this out from LG. Nothing too flashy, just a good initiation coming in from Ruster, and that's going to let LG take first cap here once more.
Yeah, Ruster not impressed with Maricree, just jumps right in on him and zaps him down. Icefeld still doing a great job here on Tracer, definitely feels at home on the King of the Hill Tracer. Sometimes you will see the McCree and Tracer kind of interchange. Artier is going to be sticking with McCree, while Bromas, who actually plays Reaper a fair bit, is going to be taking on the Tracer responsibility. It's interesting, you don't see many Tracer duels until it kind of narrows down. Usually they are looking for McCree and for the supports. Great stuff from Icefeld again, keeping himself alive. It looks like Manitin this time around gets the better of Linkser, and Ruster doing what he can, but is actually going to fall as well. Numlock falls, and suddenly it looks like Luminosity should be able to retain the point. Now we've got the Tracer versus Tracer battle, but it's going to be Luminosity at 33%, and Creation will need to regroup.
Yep, Creation not having too much luck here. Bromas going for the reset, just throws himself off the cliff. So pretty good hold there by LG. Taking a look here at ults are coming up. They will have Soundbearer up soon. Creation will have it up in turn. Both teams will be dropping the beat going into the next fight. And a lot's going to come down to the Tracer play here. Will Bromas be able to get a pick off a Pulse Bomb? Will Icefeld? That could be the difference maker when all else might be equal. Artier, of course, someone always to watch on his McCree, but here we go. Fight now in progress. Soundbearer coming down first from LG. Creation's going to wasteland, but they wait too long. Toxic goes down immediately. Sandy in the back gets the early support kill. Zabe falling through in Bromas. And look, just like that, Creation's resetting.
Swatted Linkser off the cliff as well. They did lose 2 members very quickly, like you said, and it looked like the Tracer actually did not benefit from the Sound Barrier. The fact that he had to trigger it second meant that he was not quite ready for it, and there's so many line-of-sight blockers here in the outskirts of the Ruins.
Sound Barrier v Sound Barrier is always a game of chicken, where if you do your second Sound Barrier and no one dies, it's way better. But if you wait and someone dies, you've effectively lost the fight. So unfortunately for Creation, that's what happened. Here's the Graviton, the 3-person Graviton. The Pulse Bomb comes in, sets them up for Sadie and Manitin to complete it. That's going to be 3 kills here from LG, and that might be the game. I'm not sure Creation is going to be able to get back here in time to cause overtime.
Luminosity battling back. Manitin said Linkser had the game of his life. Now it's my turn to really show off on Zarya. Sini with the Dragon Blade out forces Transcendence, but that's all the time they need to secure the point. That was a 100-0 this time around on the Ruins. Kind of surprising after seeing a really close match there in the first point, but now we'll get to see some of these highlights. We don't always get to see everything, so the highlights are really nice to help fill in the gaps for us.
Yeah, and for LG, I mean, really, they got the first point, and Creation was just stifled and actually trying to turn around.
Yeah,
and the interesting thing about the Pulse Bomb there is that he went in and got the Pulse Bomb, didn't get all the killing blows, but did so much damage that he set up the rest of his team to finish it off.
That's right, you get that lawnmower effect at that point once everybody's already at half health, and getting any direct kills, of course, is very nice for a Pulse Bomb. That's one of the easier ultimates to whiff. It's kind of a high skill, as weird as it sounds, just throwing out a bomb that explodes and kills whatever it hits, but it can be very difficult to land.
Actually, when it comes to top play. Top players are not at all really comfortable landing 6 consistently on anything that's not a big, slow tank. They do have issues, but either way, taking a look at this here. Both teams running out here once more. We'll see if Croatia can have a better opening here, but LG already with positioning. They got to the point a little bit quicker. Lynx are right now moving in at 75% charge, looking to win this battle versus the other Zarya counterpart. Manitin almost going down right away. Somehow able to get out, but while that's going on, Icefeld has got into the back line, has taken out 2 here thus far. And that's 3 kills in favor of LG, and Creation now in trouble.
We've got like a blood feud going on between these two Zaryas. Both of them got sub 50 health very, very quickly. It was actually Lynxer who fell first, and that allowed Luminosity to get some wiggle room. No more barriers coming out from Zarya, and they will claim that first point. You can see the giant well that we discussed before the match began. Icefeld, as Tracer, has been doing a great job every round so far. Bromas on the other side trying to match him as Tracer, has not had so much success just yet. R-Tier sticking to that McCree. Do you think it might be time for a change-up?
It very well could be. I mean, a Reaper here would not be bad, but as we say that, R-Tier does open up, takes out Ruster right away here to start out this game. Bromas in the backline on the Sani. This is a two people down for both sides right now as Icefeld even scoring. Icefeld right now going off as 3 kills in this fight. So far, it's 3v3 right now, very close between both teams. Transcendence will come out from LG as they try and secure this. And Creation right now just backing up a little bit, healing up, looking for the opportunity, delaying that Transcendence. Transcendence will be down. And either way, though, LG is able to push Creation back, and they should have reinforcements on the point in just a moment.
Luminosity is showing no weakness right now. Every member that gets in trouble does fall back safely, and the supports have a lot of wiggle room to kind of just stay alive. Here we have a Sound Barrier coming out from the side of Creation. They've already lost their Zenyatta actually on both sides. Sani with the Dragon Blade out can't really get much off of it. They're looking for R-Tier now, who has the Deadeye active, but he does actually fall. Sini, staying alive with just 30 health, manages to get out of there. Manitin with the Graviton Surge available can just hang on for another push. This is looking very good for Luminosity, not just right now, but for the next engagement as well. Numlock jumping down into the pit. I'm not sure if that was a misfire or not, as he almost cleared it.
No, I think he just wanted to go in. And the interesting thing is about the pit is just watching people jump in. It's like, no, I'm doing this willingly. I just want to reset. It's interesting. You brought up the McCree point earlier. I actually do think that swapping to a Reaper would be a good idea here, because R-Tier, who normally has just phenomenal games on McCree, not really doing that here. But here's the Graviton from the side. The Pulse Bomb moving in. The fall through from Icefeld. That is a double kill. Icefeld, with the aid of Zarya, sets them up. They are knocked down, and that is going to be LG's round once more, as Creation is not going to be able to get back here in time.
Brutal. We were not giving Luminosity enough credit. Clearly, Ilios, they're having a fantastic time here. You can see Zave doing the well jump. Just he wants to be a part of things. But Icefeld and Manitin actually picking it up quite a bit as well since that first round, doing a great job. That ambush, Graviton Surge, and Pulse Bomb was one of the most beautiful Tracer Zarya combos that I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's sort of the same concept to say when you have a Reaper in the corner.
Boom!
Now it's just a Zarya in the corner who goes for the Graviton, puts them all in, and Icefeld gets a fall through. So, yeah, going into the next round here, I do think that if R-Tier were to swap over to a Reaper or something else, it would definitely be better. Now, stage-wise, this looks like it was a stage that Creation actually won, so this is one of the more McCree-friendly stages here, so maybe not here. They can just go with what won them the first time, but they will maybe have to adjust when they go back to either Ruins or the stage we were just on. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
So this is the 4th round of just Ilios. It's still, kicking off our initial game in this best of 3. Icefeld moving forward very quickly, tries to find Winston headshots, and of course he does have a giant head to shoot at. Icefeld still just focusing on that Winston. If he can get him down, there's not going to be too much threat for him specifically other than the enemy Tracer. R-Tier still on that McCree, not racking up any kills. Sini actually dives through him with the dash reset, gets another kill onto Lynxer. Drake Chaos going down as well, and Toxican somehow managing to stay alive, doing what he can before falling and resetting with the rest of his team. But that's going to be Luminosity for the 3rd round in a row now, securing the point, and they have looked so strong since losing this first round.
They absolutely have. One thing that's really been a problem and a thorn in the side for Creation is that they haven't really dealt with Icefeld well. They have not gotten anywhere near the similar levels of production coming out from Bromas. And that's a problem. Now, whether they think R-Tier should be doing a better job of stopping Icefeld, I don't really know. But here we go. Next fight is underway. Creation is moving into a point, but the Graviton Surge is already out right now. Icefeld with the quad kill. Make it 5. Just exploding all over. And there's even a taunt at the
disrespect.
end.
I love
it. Oh, my goodness.
That is the best time to emo. And he's using the tea time spray, of course.
Yes, but why not?
Yeah, but everything working out so well between Manitin and Icefeld. They're just combining huge here. And I've got to give credit to the healers on Luminosity. They have been in no danger. I mean, obviously that's a combination of everything, but the fact that they're not worried about dying is great. There's a Sound Barrier coming out for the side of Luminosity. That should basically be a gimme fight. Dracaeus does counter, actually has 0% now for his ult. everything's still just falling apart for Creation.
Part of this here for Creation, they have not been playing the sound barrier game very well. That's, I think, the third time in this matchup where they've been losing a fight to start with. They try and delay the sound barrier, and the sound barrier comes down after they've already lost someone. It's not a great look. You'd be better off just losing that fight and coming in with a sound barrier versus no sound barrier. And I don't know, definitely trouble here for Creation. They are coming in here with the Graviton. We'll see if this works out. Lynx are looking for his opportunity, moving in. Graviton going to be out. Does suck in 4. Here comes Bromos. Pulse Bomb on the way. Will there be a counter wombo? It takes out 1, not much more than that. LG doing a decent job of maintaining during that combo. Icefall right now in the backline looking to clean up. Zany with the support, and that's going to be once more LG holding on here in Creation. They're down to their last push. If it does not work out here on this final push, that's going to be it. The map will be over and it'll be 1-0 in favor of LG. So not the start Creation wanted here, and Bromos onto the late switch. Farah
and Mercy. Toxic on Mercy now.
It's a testament to that. They know they're losing the Tracer game.
Yeah, they definitely need to stay airborne and keep that height advantage. Graviton Surge actually pulls in several, though. Bromos not going to live long, and it doesn't even matter. The point is secured. Luminosity 3-1 here on Ilios. I'm definitely shocked. I think Icefelt and Manitin have to be credited huge here.
Yes.
Creation, things just fell apart. They look so good on the first point.
I think what it comes down to is that they are very... our tier is a great McCree, but clearly it wasn't working out here. Bromos was not giving them the contribution on Tracer that Icefelt was. And Icefelt was a big difference maker here, more so I think than anything else. He was playing a much better Tracer than we saw at Bromos, and things kind of flowed from there. I also would say that the Lucio play was a bit go there as well. Dracaeus has simply used sound barrier at times where he probably didn't need to. Mineral was blowing a sound barrier earlier in most fights in Dracaeus, and again, I get the strategy might have been, all right, we're just going to wait a little bit, we're going to sound barrier second, but it doesn't work if LG is able to go in and pick someone off before you drop your sound barrier, because it's not enough.
Yeah, I think Mineral obviously got the better of those exchanges. Sometimes it appeared actually just throughout this map that first is best, and you basically throw your enemy off kilter a little bit. Dracaeus knew he had to counter with it or lose the fight. He had a couple of moments where he thought maybe he could bring it back. Didn't quite work out for them. So very strong showing from Luminosity out the gates here when we were saying, just before the match that we thought Creation might take the whole tournament.
Well, for Creation, I still think that is a possibility. Going forward, the next two maps are payload maps, something that Creation is much better at. They're much more experienced at, and all the rest. And they won't have to worry about losing Tracer v Tracer battles.
True.
All the time. But if you want to see that, we're going to be taking a short break. We will be back with map number 2 here in the series. Should promise to be a good one. This is the Overwatch Open, and we'll be back in just a moment.